Hey everybody, I gotta go. I'm on Avenue A now on 14th Street, and I gotta go to Jamaica, Queens. It's a pretty good run, so I wanted to video this for you guys to see. I think this wants me to go First Avenue. I guess so. And then you can go through the Midtown Tunnel. But you know what? I'm not going to take that way. That's dangerous. I'm going to take the 3rd Avenue and go over to 59th Street Bridge. That's safer than messing around with that tunnel. That thing's dangerous, man. Yeah, it's easier just to go up 3rd Avenue, and I'm going to go over the 59th Street Bridge and then cut over to 495, because going that route through, going the route through the tunnel is actually not a good idea. That tunnel's not safe for motorcycles. Whereas this route will be a little safer on a motorcycle. Certainly by no means perfect, but just by nature alone, New York City is a dangerous place riding a motorcycle. But what I have found is you need to make sure all your equipment is good. Always check your bike before you go. Every time. You should just do a glance over. Check your brakes, make sure your pads are not dislodged or messed up. If you have time, wipe off your rotors. Just little stuff like that really helps out a lot. It's not perfect. By no means are you going to prevent all incidents. But if you take a quick look at your chain, if you see a big nasty kink in it, it's not going to be a good idea to be driving on that. There's lots of little things you can check to make sure your bike's okay before you go riding. Especially here, because the roads are terrible, and they've been worse since the corona for obvious reasons, budget concerns and things like that. I've seen potholes that would just destroy a car. Like you'll see when I come up on here, this has been like this for a year. This whole construction thing, I don't know what they're doing here, but this road is a mess. I mean, when you drive through this, you can see even that bike. He's got no shocks on that. This road is messed up. So I'm going to go 3rd Avenue, 58th Street turn, and go over to 59th Street Bridge. Take the lower level, shoot over to LIE, take that to 678 Van Wyck, and then it's right into Jamaica. I just came from dropping off a big box to Johnny Air Cargo. One of the reasons why I do that on a bike is because there's a nice pothole. The parking tickets are very expensive here in New York. $115 plus $375 tow, which you'll be towed in certain areas. You'll be towed very quickly. Then once they tow your car, it's on the west side. So I've mentioned that before in my videos, that the reason I drive a bike around New York, I'm just lucky that I enjoy riding a dual sport. For me, this shit's fun. But I mean, I've had friends from California come here, and they love riding, but they love different style riding. They like doing canyon runs and twisties, and some people like stunting. I'm just lucky that I live in New York, and I absolutely eat this shit up. I just love riding a dual sport around in the city. For me, it's fun. But for some people, like when my friend visited from LA and we were on the BQE and it was tight as hell, he said, let's go to Coney Island, I want to check it out. And I don't blame him. It was a hot day. There was tons of traffic on the BQE, and it was like lane splitting with inches to spare. It's not my most fun thing. I mean, I don't totally enjoy that. I enjoy more like this on 3rd Avenue or something, the city crowded stuff like this. But he just hated it. He was just like, man, this sucks. And I don't blame him, because riding a bike around LA is, it's super fun. Nice weather. You get the canyons when you want to twisty, when you want to do some nice canyon runs. I learned how to ride there. The canyons, I learned how to do that stuff. And his experience with the canyon runs is quite amazing. And he didn't like this at all. He was just like, this is terrible. He's like, this is horrible. And I didn't actually blame him, because it isn't the most fun riding to be done. I mean, this kind of stuff, it's fun for me. But I get it that it's not fun for everybody, because not everybody likes the same thing in the world, Everybody likes different things. But that's why we're human beings. We all have different likes, needs, tastes. It's what makes us special. And I'm just lucky because I'm in New York, and I happen to enjoy riding here. It's fun. The more challenging the roads here, the more fun it is for me. So I enjoy it, and then the cost is a huge factor. Because you're driving a bike around New York, you don't have to worry about tickets. You also don't need to worry about moving violations, because the police don't bother you here on a bike. Whereas on a car, you've got these camera tickets, speed cameras, everything you can think of, you're getting tickets for. And it all adds up. It comes out from your bottom line. You've got parking tickets and you name it. It's very, very expensive to operate here in a car. I would not recommend it. And then the wear and tear on your car. If you have a nice car and you're driving around the city, look at these roads. I mean, I drive a KLR because it's easy to fix, easy to work on, and not too expensive to operate here in the city, because You don't want to be driving around an expensive motorcycle here. Not only the roads are bad, but got a lot of things, a lot of factors, you know, that come into play. It's also tempting to ride here. I see guys like new riders, and I feel bad for them because I went through these same things. Like, you're tempted to drive like a 250 because this place is actually perfect for a 250 motorcycle. 250 fuel injected, you're good to go here. But your biggest problem with the 250 here is the weight. It can easily be stolen. And that's a big problem, having a motorcycle stolen here because of its weight. If they can pick it up, if two people can pick it up very easily and move it, so when you're in a job working somewhere, because I don't lock my bike up to poles all the time. I might lock it up, you know, at night though, it's all locked up. Because you have to here at night, because there's people poking around, climbing fences, touching shit. This is, you know, New York is a terrible place. It's full of criminals, you know. And it's a great place to work though. I mean, you can earn, you can hustle here, but there's also a lot of thieves here. Small motorcycles get stolen easier. Scooters and things like that, they just pick them up and take them. And if they can unbolt the wheel because you have a lock going through it, and then they'll just take the whole fucking thing. You know, it's just, you can't take the front wheel off a KLR and steal it because it's too heavy. You're gonna damage the shit out of it, dragging it all over the place. It might not even be worth it to anybody. Like one time I was changing my tires on this bike, and actually my old Gen 1 KLR also happened too. But on this one I had the bike, I don't have a center stand, and I had it propped up and I dropped it. And you know, I dropped it on the front forks. It wasn't too big deal, but just picked it up, and I had the gas tank off because I was doing some other stuff, so the weight wasn't too much. But I was just imagining if someone was trying to manhandle this bike and steal it, it would be a chore. And they generally don't take parts off bikes here. You might get like some crackhead coming around at night messing with like phone mounts and stuff. They'll steal phone mounts, but I mean, how much money is somebody actually making from that? I have a GPS on my bike because if it does get stolen, I want to know where it's at. But that's not infallible either. They could take your bike to the Bronx and bring it into the basement. And then if they brought it in the basement or something, the signal for the GPS wouldn't be there. They could definitely do that, and they do that a lot. Well, you see like this scooter over on the right here, that's a small little scooter, a little 50cc. Those get stolen all the time, and a lot of people ride around on those without any registration or plate. And if you do get it stolen and it ends up somewhere, you're not gonna, the city is gonna just destroy that thing because it's gonna be an unplated vehicle in the street. They'll just crush it. Sanitation will just crush it. So, you know, they'll check the VIN number before they crush it to see if it's a illegally registered vehicle. But if it's not, they will absolutely not deal with that. They'll just crush it. And if they do crush it, you're not going to get, there's nothing you can do from the city for compensation. It's done. You can just kiss it goodbye. So that's very unfortunate when that happens. And I know people that drive around little 50cc scooters. You know, a lot of the delivery people drive around unregistered 50cc scooters. Some of them are two-cycle, and they drive them around. They're not registered. Cops don't bother them, but if it does get stolen, that's it. It's done. You know, like, you just kiss it goodbye. You're not going to retrieve that back again. The city, if they do find it abandoned on a corner somewhere, they'll just crush it. This bike, if it gets stolen and it ends up somewhere, the city will check the VIN, and then you're going to get maybe, the problem is you're going to get like a huge bill from the city for the storage fees. So that ain't pretty either. It's all a mess, you know. No matter what, you don't want your bike getting stolen, because you may not even want it back. The whole thing is like a mess. So basically, the city's tough. It's not all fun and games. But if I add up all the costs, though, if you were go around, I can't do my work on a train. So if you add up all the costs, it's still worth it. Definitely still worth it to be on a bike. So here I'm just jumping on. This is the tunnel that I would have come through. It's a long way around, but I hate going through that tunnel on a bike. It's not safe.